Hi guys, today we are taking this fabric from JoAnn's, which is scrunched at the top. You can kind of see that there, it gives it an elastic appearance. And we're going to be making it into a jumpsuit. So you can see that first side was the right side, and then the back side was the wrong side, and the wrong side is a little bit lighter. So start out, you should measure your bust width for what you want to tell them at the store. So I just set a yard because I wanted to make something else with it too, but you know, again, just tell them your bust width, and I think like 22 inches was about $14 if I remember. I have to look at the receipt and do the math. But you can see here, I'm just cutting that out, and it's not very precise. So this fabric is also different. And by different, I mean you can rip part of it because it's ruched. So I wouldn't rip through like the top part where they all scrunched it together. So I'm just trying to get a straight line here. I more or less measured it out beforehand and marked which B it was. So I'm just trying to get a really straight line because I knew I was going to have to adjust it anyway as we went on. So I tend to cut things on the floor because my floor isn't carpet, and it gives me a really large surface area to work with. I mean, obviously, knowing that the floor is clean too, you know, there's not random crumbs of dark chocolate Oreos because I love to eat those. So you can see I'm taking my fabric scissors and cutting just through the first part, and then you'll see me get like a pretty good knee on the side of the fabric, and I'll rip it down. And this fabric rips straight down. It's really easy. You just pull it all the way down. If you're nervous about ripping fabric, don't do it. I mean, you know, it's something that's definitely scary the first time you do it, but it comes out very clean. And now I have exactly the right amount that I need. So this is the wrong side that's facing up right now. You can kind of see how it's rolling over at the edges. And here is what we have now. So now I am going to sew basically the top part. I'm going to pin that together, but you're going to sew it with the wrong sides out, fold it in half. And you can pin it if you want. I didn't because I knew kind of the seam I was going with. I had to work at it. And you're just going to sew it all the way down. Now, I used a zigzag stitch. You can use a straight stitch. You can use a zigzag stitch with elastic, whatever. So I used just a tiny little zigzag stitch all the way down. Remember to back sew a few times. So there I am. You just switch the direction of your sewing needle. That's all it is. So if there's a reverse function on your sewing needle or your sewing machine, you just press that down, and then you just run it back and then run it forward. So, and then I was doing the zigzag stitch all the way down that seam. So that's, remember, the wrong sides are facing out, and the dress was just folded in half, and you're just sewing all the way down. And if you don't have a sewing machine, you can do this by hand if you want. It might take you a little longer, you know, but you definitely can. The great thing about this fabric is it's very forgiving because it has a pattern, and it's going to be very flowy at the end. So you can kind of see what it looks like in a second. Here you go. This is the zigzag stitch I'm talking about. It was running a little slower here because I wasn't able to give it, you know, tension as I was pulling it. So here's what I have right now. Remember, these are the wrong sides out, because you could see the stitch pretty well. So I'll see what it looks like. That's the right side. It's on the inside. So you can go ahead and turn it inside out at this point. And there it is. Turned inside out. Wow, that was pretty good. So now you can see you've got this nice dress. And honestly, you could stop here if you wanted a dress. And here's a dress on me. Obviously, it needed to be hemmed, but I didn't really like it. And so I was kind of also playing with the neckline. I thought the neckline wasn't flattering on me, so I was trying to figure out what I wanted with that as well. Yeah, you can see my face. I was like, long day, trying to figure it out. And here I'm showing you how to start the pants. I didn't really feel it was appropriate to show it on myself. So what you're going to do is grab like under your crotch pretty much. Like if someone is going to meet in the middle. So you're going to go from the back and the front and just put a pin in it. You're going to just like put a pin right where they meet when you have the dress on yourself. So I'm kind of showing you like where this would be between my legs. You want to make it not super tight. Give yourself some room. You can always make it tighter. So I put a pin right there. So there it is. Just so I knew where it was. Now this part, it's going to be easier for me to walk you through it. So I put the pin in it there. You're going to want to just use that more so as a guide. So what you can do here is you can just cut straight up the middle to that, or you can turn it inside out and try and sew both legs if you want, but I think it's gonna be easier to do this. So I pinned it on the wrong side-ish, kind of. So what I'm gonna do, so I'm just showing you how to sew it. But what you're gonna do is, again, turn it so the wrong side is out like this, and there's my little marks. So I flipped them so they're on the sides. I just spread it out a different way. So instead of having the line, my mark in the center, I moved them so that's on either side. And you're just gonna cut it. So you could have had it like it was before, where I had the pins in the middle, and you're just gonna cut it straight down the center, so you'd have two legs. You'll see what I'm doing. Or you can move it. So the point of my dress, where it's kind of folded over, the one point is by the back leg of my chair, and the one point is by the bottom right corner of your screen. I'm gonna basically cut the dress or rip it here. And those were representative of where the pins were. Because remember, it's a dress, so there were 2 points making up that pin. You'll see it in a second, it'll come together. The first two videos where the last two videos where I was showing it like sewn, that was if you wanted to like sew both legs and then cut them out, but I'm a fan of this way. So we're gonna do it like this. I'm gonna cut the other side. I had little marks on there that I could see, so it looks kind of messy right now. But I promise you, if you believe, we'll get there in the end. So just to kind of recap on this part, because I know you might have to pause it and rewind it if you're, a little confused. That's okay. I can make a better video explaining this if you want. But basically, the 2 pins, I had the pin in the crotch, and then, because I'm meeting one side of the dress with the other, instead of having them all lay down to the center, I shifted the dress, so the pins are still there, but now they're on the sides, so that way I could just cut it easier. That's all it is. So you can cut the dress straight down. So now you can see where the cuts are. There's one on one side, one on the other side. Remember, the wrong side is facing out, and now you're just going to sew it down with a straight stitch. So I used a smaller straight stitch, and you're just going to sew it all the way down. When I sewed this, I kind of left the crotch open, and then I tried it on, and then I sewed the crotch just to make sure it was going to fit correctly, but you can just try it all in one go. It's up to you. So here it is. And really long, so we're going to have to hem the pants. I wasn't a fan. And then the neckline. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And for that, I just kind of ended up like bunching it together and running it through my sewing machine once, or just like putting one stitch on the back of it. And you can see how I did this in the video of the silver top I made for my Miss America interview outfit. It isn't there, but it really just was a couple stitches. I just bunched it up and then put a stitch on the inside. So it's pretty easy. This is me hemming the pants. Hemming the pants is pretty easy. All you do is just mark where you want the pants, and then I'm gonna just fold them up and then just sew right along the bottom, and then you cut off the excess on the inside. So I always fold them inward, and then I always fold up a lot. And then here's the transition. Here's the final product. I loved it so much. This was so much fun, and I'm excited to make more cute summer things. So I hope you enjoyed it, and show me what you guys end up making. Thanks.